This is the model that we presented at the competition stage. We felt that in order to stand in this natural and slightly isolated place, it was important that the buildings presented a singular volumetric mass. So what you notice is from the outside there is a very strong regulating geometry that exists in the perimeter, and it also exists in the roof. That apparently very solid and singular geometry is then broken into many pieces, and those pieces then contain buildings and spaces. This was the competition, and you can see that the idea is also that the roofs become very important, and there's a coordination of the roofs, that the master plan imposes a geometric limit on the roofs. The two big volumes are, the one closest to us is the shopping, the one furthest away is the Congress Hall, museum is over here, office, research, hotel, and shopping. At the competition stage, we presented superficial images to show how the architecture may develop, but I remind you at this point that the architectural language was not really part of the proposal. It was really a master plan. So this shows a hypothetical architectural treatment, but what it does show is the idea of the complex being held together by central public outdoor spaces. And that from the outside, the buildings form a sort of continuous volume, but we anticipated that each architect would develop each of the buildings in quite a different architectural style. So although there is a danger in the master plan that the volume, the urban volume seems very simple and very monolithic, our confidence was that this monolithic quality would be broken down by the interests and the fascinations in the development of each architectural project. This was an image of the project at competition stage. More diagrams now. So this is where we started. We then made meetings with the other teams. They will explain their projects. What we hoped for and what we received was a dynamic between the architectural projects and the master plan, and that there was a sort of questioning through each project of the master plan itself. We weren't sure whether that questioning would be extreme and fundamental, or whether it would be detailed and particular. In the end, I think we found a balance in terms of how the projects sit. It interestingly, and I think positively, has improved the master plan. This was the competition master plan. This is the new master plan. You can see that the volume of the project is spread slightly, that the edges have changed a little bit. The building, the two buildings in the middle have now become one, which I think is much better. But the basic concept of squares and streets, of the balance and the relationship between building volumes and open space has remained true. This is the Basico project, again showing you that the architects have respected the heights of the buildings, I think that the overall volumetric presentation of the complex is still clear, and I think that you will see later that while at this level you might feel that it's it's not interesting enough, I think when each architect works on each volume, I think you'll notice that the balance between overlying principles and regulations and rules, and on the one hand, and the architectural development of different projects finds a very interesting relationship. And that's the sort of relationship that we have experienced in development of cities over time. So more views of the project. You can see here the relationship between the volumes and the spaces. This is, in a way, the approach from the main street. On the left-hand side is the shopping complex. On the right-hand side is the museum. This is showing the section through. You can see how important the slope of the site is and the importance of the roof, the geometry of the roofs. I think it's very important that a project of such scale invests in the public spaces. The public spaces are the places where, in the end, we all experience architecture from. Once we go into buildings, we work in buildings, we sleep in them, but it's in the public space where architecture has its most potency, and where we create an idea of, a collective idea. And I think you can see in the project that what we've struggled and tried to maintain all the time is not only the strength of the buildings and try to allow each architect to develop their buildings in a strong way, but also to hold on to the strength of the open public spaces, and to be quite strong about what the quality of those spaces will be. They will become, in some ways, the most important project. Okay, so that's an overview of the master plan, and then each team will now talk about their projects. Thank you.